Multitasking today. Woo!
We are definitely multitasking. Hello. Amber, Coleman, and I are live. And not only are we live here on YouTube today, we are live on multiple Instagrams. We're
we got cameras going on everywhere.
We're taking over the internet. Just, this is what we do. So, hello, Amber.
Hello, how are you?
Good. Welcome.
It's always nice to have you in here.
Thank you. I love that we came with your October hair. This is October hair. She brings the heat in October for sure.
I do, right?
You're very festive.
I'm always matching October.
So we decided to go live today. We are live on Las Vegas Gal Instagram as well as Cerrone Group Instagram. If you are not following us on those platforms, my friends on YouTube is who I'm speaking to, then you're missing out. That's all I have to say. We put out really fun content. Yeah. We're constantly putting out reels. This one is the funniest human being on the planet. So today we're basically just going to talk about, is now a good time to buy a house in Las Vegas? That's the number one question that everyone asks. It's a lot of speculation,
everybody seems to be like, I don't know.
Yeah, we're just going to talk about it. That's the bottom line. So if you have questions, we are also willing and able and ready to answer those questions. Same thing with you guys on Instagram. We're going to do our best to answer as many of them as possible. But really, she's a lender. I'm a realtor. This is what we do for a living. We are in the trenches every single day trying to figure out what the hell is going on. And
literally, that's what we're trying to figure out every day.
Yeah, and we're bringing the positivity to you. So I'm going to eat my Crumbles cookie, as Crumbles is the local business. You should show off that cookie. It's ridiculous and amazing, and I've eaten half of it already. And
it's a beautiful cookie.
I'm very excited.
It was good breakfast this morning.
It is my breakfast. It's a pumpkin spice cookie, and the sugar's gonna hit me in about 3, 2, 1. Are we ready? Okay.
Yay.
All right, Amber. So I love you because you are always finger on the pulse when it comes to interest rates.
I love how you always you're always so positive. I'm like, she always makes me feel good.
Ray of sunshine. That's what they call me.
The biggest cheerleader. The biggest cheerleader.
I will take it. I'm gonna get my pom-poms ready. I'm gonna come in here and do a little for you.
Oh yeah.
You always have your finger on the pulse when it comes to the freaking market. Yeah. Like what's going on with rates? What are the experts saying? What are the Feds doing? So what have you been reading this week? Last week we talked a little bit about how, people have been expecting a crash to come, and there's almost people eagerly waiting for it to happen.
Yeah.
Which, first of all, not okay. We don't want to crash.
Bad things to happen.
So what's your take? Just straight up based on what you've seen.
On the whole thing, on rates.
Is there going to be a freaking crash happening anytime soon?
No, there's not going to be a crash because the last crash was too soon ago. We're all looking at that because we can remember it. Everybody's looking at it because they can remember it. And they're like, it's going to happen again because some of the things are looking that way when you see prices go. Well, there's videos there.
So many cameras. This is the one we're going to focus right here.
Okay, we're focusing right there. So some people are looking at what happened 12 years ago, right? And saying that, it's looking too similar because the prices are moving up so high.
Right.
But you got to remember there was so many laws put into place back in 2011 that prohibited a lot of those things from happening. So do I think there's going to be a crash? No. There might be a correction, and there always is corrections.
Well, we would like a correction.
We're always going like this. We're never going like this. We're always just kind of going like this.
We call it the roller coaster.
Yeah, it's the roller coaster ride. And as far as rates go, all the economists are, and I do follow that really closely. I watch stuff every morning. I read stuff all the time because that's what I do for a living, right?
This is what we do.
When
this is how we do it. Okay, sorry.
Okay, so when
sugar just hit me.
When COVID happened, the Feds came in and they dumped a lot into the mortgage-backed securities, which artificially brought the rates down. Right. So that was artificial. That wasn't a real thing. So these rates that we're in right now is just kind of a happy blessing for us, really.
Right.
I mean, it's not real. So eventually they're going to have to pull out. And what they're saying is what they're expecting is for them to start pulling out in November. Now, it's not going to be like all of a sudden we go from one rate to way higher rates because that would crash the economy, right?
That's when the crash happens.
That's not what they're looking to do. Otherwise, they wouldn't have started this in the first place. Mm-hmm. They're looking to what it said is they're looking to over the next 2 to 4 years to start gradually pulling out, to where it doesn't hit you so hard. Right. So we're starting to see rates creep up a little bit. But what I always tell people too is that on a good day before COVID, rates were 3.875, on a good day.
Okay.
And I'm talking conventional loans. FHAs are always lower because they have mortgage insurance on them.
Let's say that number again, just so everybody can hear. On a good day pre-COVID, a great day, 3.875.
And people were excited to get it. So then it dropped to, in the low threes on a conventional loan.
Right.
Again, I'm not talking government. And then it dropped. Some days you could have gotten in
free money basically underneath the tree.
Like when COVID was at the highest in December and January, there was days that you could have got 2.5, 2.6. I mean, it got crazy. I've never seen anything like it before. But that's when the economy was at a really bad shape. Like they had to do something to
stimulate it.
So now that people are back to work, we can't expect rates to stay where they were when people weren't at work. That's the reason why they were there. Does that make sense? So we're going to see them go up. But if you can still get a rate in the low threes, which is where they kind of are, you're doing great. Because they're going to go up.
Let's say that again. Yeah, if you can still get a rate in the low threes right now, you're doing great.
And you're doing awesome. Like, yeah. So.
The reason I think it's important for us to talk about those, and I'm repeating those numbers, is because, it's everybody gets a little disillusioned, right? The word gets out that money's basically free and nobody, it's all about keeping up with the Joneses. My buddy down the street got a 2.875 rate on a conventional loan, and he saved this much money. Why can't I get it too?
Yeah.
Great. You should have done it when your buddy did it, or you should have the same credit as your buddy, or you should have the same structure in your finances as your buddy.
That's the thing you need to point out too, is there's a lot of different things that go into that rate. The credit, great thing. Credit, debt ratio, all that stuff.
So I think the message of today's video that we're hoping to get across is, stop following the leader and maybe just be the leader when it comes to what we're doing.
Stop following the leader?
Don't follow the leader, not when it comes to buying a house, especially right now. It's so hard to decipher what's in the news, what's real, what's, who's right, who's wrong. You guys have to keep in mind too, if you're watching, we're speaking to all of you. So you on YouTube, hello, you on Instagram, hello. We want to make sure that you know that, you need to be looking at local experts and local news, local information, local economists when you're thinking about what's going on here and you're thinking about where you want to buy. Let's say you wanted to buy in Seattle. Would I be looking at the national news to figure out what's going on in Seattle to find out what those rates are? No. So why are you doing that with Las Vegas, right? Vegas is
That's a good point.
Growing and evolving in a big way, right? We are no longer this little desert light bulb in the sky that's sitting there.
We have the Raiders here now. We've just become a whole different city.
The city's growing. So a lot of people think that the growth is happening because of COVID, but I hate to break it to you. We were already growing before COVID. The city was exploding before COVID hit, and COVID has definitely changed the game a little bit, but we're a city that's on the map now for good. We're no longer this weird place that people go. I hope we stay that way a little bit. This weird place people go to get away and have some fun, right? But we are a real city. We're legitimized. The people love Las Vegas. They're seeing Las Vegas for what she really is. Notice I said she, because she's a female. And that we're really trying to make sure that you understand that you cannot get wrapped up in the thoughts and the words of spinning through the air, all the news outlets talking about, crashing, and the rates are going up, and everybody, there's going to be so many houses on the market and you're going to get the best deal. The reality is if you want to buy a house in Las Vegas, you got to learn how to buy the right way. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that today.
Let's do it.
I'm excited.
The cookie's hitting me too.
I know. I got a surge of energy, so I might get up and do a little dance. So
crumble cookie, they're beautiful place.
If you have questions, please drop them in the comments here or drop them in the comments on Instagram. We want to be able to answer. We'll ask you for some of those questions coming through, Shug, if you are seeing any. So we talked on our last video last week, Amber, about buying seasonally. So you work with a lot of investors. We work with a lot of investors as well, who are very smart about how they're buying homes. We talked a little bit also a couple of videos ago about how there's a lot of hedge funds coming in, and they're buying up a lot of the houses that are under the 400,000 range. We've seen a little bit of that slowing down, and I don't know if it's slowing down because they ran out of money, or they're being smarter about the timing, or they're waiting for the rates to drop again. I don't know. But we've seen not as many multiple offer situations in that price bracket. There are definitely still some. We can't make any promises, but we're just seeing kind of this weird shift. And I guess my main focus for you is to talk about kind of how we work with investors and that they make decisions based on timing and seasons, right? So what would you say your investors are looking at right now? Those who are trying to get something under their wings within the next 3 to 5 months.
They look when they don't have to compete. So typically, I have one investor that buys multiple houses and usually every year he's buying houses. And this time of year, November, December, usually we're closing in January, is when that particular investor is usually buying, because
seasonal.
You don't have to compete for the properties.
Yeah.
So you're going to be able to get a little bit. Yeah. Not that I don't know if you're going to get like a deal compared to what it used to be in the past.
Yeah.
But when you're having to compete with people, you're definitely not going to get anything.
Right.
So that's usually when they're out looking, is when you're not having to compete.
Yeah. And that's not just investors too. I've seen that just from a regular, like residential buyers who are buying their first home. In the last 4 years of doing this, I've shown homes on Christmas Day after Christmas, day before Christmas, and have put in offers on those days. There are people who are getting lucky because their situation, put them into a situation where they had to shop through the holidays, and they're getting lucky at the fact that, again, not as much competition, not as much noise. Not many people want to go out in the cold. Yes, it gets cold here, by the way. Not many people want to go out in the cold and look at homes. Oh, they'll just wait till the spring. And we talk about all the time, why are you going to buy when everybody else is buying? Why wouldn't you buy it now?
That's what we were talking about before, following the leader, right? It's just following the leader.
Do not follow the leader
when you're buying in the spring, because honestly, people that bought this last spring were having to pay like what, $50,000 over appraised value.
Because they all waited.
They waited until everybody else was doing it. So if you're kind of on the opposite schedule, then you're going to get a little bit more.
And what I love about what our team does too is, we do so much relocation, right? So many of our clients, we're so fortunate that we get to be the first experience that they have when they move to Las Vegas. And it's tough, right? Traveling in the holiday season can be kind of rough, right? That weird week where it's in between Thanksgiving and Christmas, those 2 to 3 weeks, you're trying to figure out, like, what am I doing? Flights are high, whatever. Pay for the extra flight and do the shopping then, and you'll maybe pay less for the house than you thought because it balances out that way. Like, that's kind of what we're seeing our clients.
That's a good thing to think about.
People get freaked out. Well, it'd be great to shop during the holidays, but flights are more expensive, hotels are more expensive. Cool, but just think about what's not going to be more expensive, or what could be the better half.
You get a lot more savings on the house.
So our team definitely likes to advise our clients that way. We have a lot of people go, we're just going to wait till January, and that's when we go, no, this is the time you need to be doing it.
Last year, that's when it really started happening. In January, it was like, whoa, we had no idea.
It was like, whoa,
the amount of people that were coming in to buy and stuff. So that's, when everybody was looking.
And I think too, with the COVID restrictions lifting and things changing at all times, we never know what tomorrow is going to bring. So if you can take advantage of, the opportunity of the next 3 months of the last half of the year, last quarter of the year, I should say, and really pay attention to the rates and lock in with someone like Amber or your preferred lender, whoever you want to work with. She's amazing, by the way. But work with a lender who's going to help you stay on top of that. You can really align the time of your purchase with the proper rates and things like that are happening, across the nation for that, and really get yourself into a better situation. We don't want to make promises that you're going to get a better deal. We don't want to make promises that you're going to save money, that you're going to be able to offer under list. You're still going to have competition, but we just know that the noise gets calmed and a little bit more quiet.
By past history. I mean, every year it's kind of the same thing. Like, that's usually the best time.
Same thing too is summertime. Summertime got a little quiet this summer. Quieter. I mean, nothing's quiet right now because there's no inventory, but like quieter for us. And that's because everybody's out finally doing vacations and things like that, or they're getting ready to get the kids started. The minute school went back into session, boom, our hair flew off flew off of our heads, and we were busy again. So we've been in this business a long time. We know what the seasons are. So if you're not ready this year or at the end of this year, at least reach out to us now and let us get you started with the conversation so we can start to put your plan together. So if springtime next year is going to be when you're kind of looking, maybe we can back up to beginning of January for you, and we can say, okay, spring may be when you want to move, but we need to start looking maybe end of December, beginning of January, and you may be able to float yourself by a month or two just to,
It's always good to have that game
plan.
Make
it work. Yeah, it's just about a game plan. So the message is, do not follow the leader. The leaders are talking national news. They're talking,
and the leaders have us all running in circles. So let's start stepping out of it and seeing what's real.
Work more with a localized lender, obviously local realtor, of course, but local economists, local experts who are really going to talk about, what's happening right here in our city. Yes, we're affected by the national news. Yes, we're affected by the national rates, things like that. But what's happening here is in the centrifuge, and we need to focus on that.
Yeah, because it's all based on jobs in that particular area that's going to affect the economy and stuff.
I feel like I'm all over the place, but it's just really, we didn't really have like a strict script for today's. It's for video. It's for today's video. I can't tell. It's the sugar. I'm telling you. Today's video. We really wanted to just be here to answer some questions, because we've been getting a lot of questions coming through, and then beyond the questions, just to remind you, if you're thinking of buying, it's probably really a smart thing to start looking now, or start getting set up for your plan now, and to make sure you're focusing on the seasonality of the fact that it's still the same business it's been for hundreds of years, right? It's just we know the seasons and we know the reasons and when you should buy, so you should just ask us.
Yes, we should.
I don't know. All right, let's jump in and answer some questions here and see what's what here. Hey guys. Oh, Dave says, excited to be moving to Vegas in mid-November. Very awesome. Congratulations.
Yes.
DLVTT says, the rising mortgage rates, is that a risk? And is it a real possibility in the next year that the prices could be coming down? I don't believe prices are going to be coming down. I mean,
I think it'll stabilize.
I think they're going to stabilize. Yeah.
I think it'll, because right now, I mean, everybody gained 25% in a year. That's crazy talk.
Yeah.
Like usually you should really gain in a healthy like 2% a year. So we have to stabilize somewhere.
Yeah.
And the rates were so low that, raising them like right now where they've been raised is pretty much where they were like
right before COVID, right?
No, not even before COVID.
Oh,
it was
right
after COVID, because they're still lower than COVID rates.
True.
So right now, I don't think it's a risk, but everybody's kind of looking at it like, ooh, it's not doing that. It's just going to creep up.
So while rates start to creep up, the prices of the homes, I don't believe are going to dip. I believe they're going to just stick. And then the rates will continue to creep up or whatever they're going to do.
Unless somebody had their price of their house like way, because some people got really greedy and put their price of the house really, really high.
And that, obviously, let's talk about that a little bit. That is really important. So a lot of people, I think that another part of the frenzy that happens is people are looking at Zillow and Realtor.com, and those are wonderful websites. They're not always up to date. In fact, they're almost never up to date, just so everybody knows. Sometimes they are, it just depends. But for the most part, they're almost never up to date. And what's happening is people, to your point, sellers started getting greedy. Jim, the neighbor down the street, didn't do any upgrades, and he got lucky and he listed right at that seasonal moment that he, it was a good time for him to list, especially with everything going on. And he got X number of dollars above what he was asking. You waited 3 months, didn't do anything to your house, listed your home. It's the same as your buddy Jim, and nobody's offering on the house, and you're sitting here wondering why. So now, because you got greedy, you listed it where Jim listed it. There's not as many buyers on the market. The rates are ticking up. Things are slowing just a little. Now you're forced to drop that and drop that and drop that price. That doesn't indicate that prices are going to drop. It's just indicating that Jim got lucky and John is a little bit greedy,
and
right?
Also Jim got over the market too. So he got over the market. When the market was here, he got this much. So right now it's coming back down to where the market is.
Right. So
somebody paid him cash to get over.
So we're seeing all these Zillow updates of price drop, price reduction, and that's great. Those are either uneducated realtors who just didn't make the right decision and didn't help educate their client on the proper way to price their home so that they could get what Jim got, which was more than one offer and things like that, where you can compete and really choose who you're letting buy your home, and really just greed takes over. So don't assume because you're seeing price drops across the city that things are crashing. That's not what that is. It's really just the correction of the market, and things are going to find their way back to the center, which is where they were. But the prices are still up and running. Our median price is 405 right now.
And there's plenty of people waiting to get them too.
Absolutely.
Like we don't have. It hasn't like all of a sudden turned into a buy. It's still a seller's market where the sellers are still in control.
I'd say
so that's
a crash would be if all of a sudden we had 5 to 7 months worth of inventory just boom hit the market. All of a sudden all these houses just hit the market tomorrow, and there's still the same number of buyers out there. Things would definitely then correct and then probably drop, because now you're competing against other homes that are trying to be sold to the same number of buyers.
Well, and the other thing to point out too is the people that are selling, they don't really have anywhere to go that's comparable to their house. So until that happens where they can sell and then go somewhere else, you're not going to really see that inventory hit, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Good question though. Thank you so much for including that. Greg, if you inherit a house following a parent's passing, are you still eligible for first-time homeowners programming?
Yeah.
If you inherit the house after your parents passed it, do you then have to qualify for the loan to take it over? Or
so it kind of depends on the house. If you're inheriting a house that they gave to you that's free and clear, I guess you won't need a loan, so you won't need any first-time home buyer programs. If you're inheriting the house and there's a loan on it, so you want to take over that loan, you might not need first-time home, because first-time home buyer programs help with down payment, like down payment assistance and stuff like that. And if you're inheriting that house, then it was willed to you, so you can refinance it into your name, and all the equity in the house can be used as down payment. So you're not going to necessarily need first-time home buyer stuff.
I think the question might also be, because you now own a home, are you are you still eligible to even qualify for those first-time home buyers because you have a home in your name at that point?
You could qualify, but again, that first-time home buyer is going to help with the down payment, like most.
So it wouldn't even.
Most of it's assistance, and you have the equity in the house.
So what if I
unless
inherit
there's
a
no
home?
Equity in the house?
What if I inherit a home and I want to still go buy a house with first-time home buyers thing? So I now have a home under my name.
Maybe that's the question. Okay.
I think that's it. How does that work?
So then you're not really a first-time home buyer, because you have a house that's in your name, that was willed to you. So then you're not a first-time home buyer.
I would be challenging that, because I didn't buy the home, I inherited the home. So if it's on title in your name, like if it's
So it kind of depends on your situation. I'd be happy to talk to you about it.
Yeah, let us know. There's
the
links in the description. Good question though. I've never heard of that
there's
one.
a lot of different avenues. As you can see, like you heard the question one
there's
way,
like three ways. There's three ways to look at it.
You know, it's whatever you got it. Let's talk. Wait, it's
I'm like,
right?
What if I'm like, yeah, click the link below. I'm always like going, what's the loophole? Where do we go? How do we go? Olivia Carr, hey girl, and then Jennifer Wilson says Amber is absolutely amazing. I second that statement. Love that.
Thank you, Jennifer.
All right, let's look to our Instagram followers while you're here. Stay tuned, YouTube. Do we have any questions coming through?
They're saying there's no audio on both.
Oh, there's no audio on both, so they're just looking at us. This is fun. How fun is that? You can probably end the lives then if they're not working. No stress. How weird. Why would there be no audio?
Yeah, that's weird.
Strange. We had a lot of people following. Oh man. All right. That's okay though. If you guys still have some more questions, please drop some more in the comments here. Sorry, Instagram. If you were watching us on Instagram too, that's a bummer. We'll figure it out next time. Paul Carl says, what happens if I buy in an age-restricted 55+ community, but then I marry a 22-year-old showgirl? That is a Las Vegas story if I've ever heard it, my friend. And I hope that happens for you.
That's awesome.
Your 22-year-old showgirl is allowed to live with you in that home. Only one person who lives in the home has to be 55 or older. So good luck and good news, Paul.
Manifest
let's hope for your showgirl. I'm really excited.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm excited for that. I love that. Samantha says she can hear us. Al said he can hear us, but I think that's on here, maybe not on Instagram.
I let them know that we're live on YouTube too.
So okay, perfect. Sorry guys, I'm not sure what was going on with our Instagram feed. We are taking questions and answers. Amber and I are really excited about just being able to come on and just talk about, just the fact that there's not a crash coming. Please hold your horses, and really encourage you guys to look at buying seasonally and really focusing on the right time of year to buy and the right structure to your purchase versus just following the leader.
Think outside of the circle that everybody's going in right now.
Yeah. Matt's saying, how do we feel about the market in the next few months? How do we feel? Do we feel any shifts coming?
I mean, I definitely that's
great question.
I definitely felt like a calming.
Yeah.
It's been. I hate using the word crazy. I hate to use the word crazy, but that's the only thing that comes to my head. So it's been a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
Where you can't even think about what's happening out there. And so right now, it has calmed.
Yeah.
But it hasn't calmed to the point where it's still a buyer's market yet.
And it won't until more inventory hits the market. Like the bottom line is the inventory is what's really making it a seller's market. It's not the rates. It's not any of that. The inventory is making it a seller's market. The rates, they are still very low. So it's okay to be excited about them. Even though they're creeping up a little, they're still maintaining that.
But it's all relative.
It's all relative.
It's all relative because they're creeping up, but they're still low. We're still in COVID rates.
So the rates are giving the buyers, making it a buyer frenzy. So it's like this crazy weird thing. The rates are helping the buyers and the low inventory is helping the sellers. And then those two things just don't fit together. Like at this point in time, it's making that friction happen. My take on the market over the next few months is going to be that we are going to see more sellers. Nobody wants to sell their home during the holidays. Let me just be very honest about that. Selling your home sucks to begin with. All right, it's not a fun process. The money's great, but the process is not fun. So selling during the holidays is kind of a thing. But if the sellers that I know of are smart, they will be listing their home. And I do think that there's been people who've been kind of trying to figure out what they're going to do next. And I have a feeling that we're going to see some more homes November, December hit the market, which would be awesome. But that would be awesome. Walk into the new year with some more homes on the market for people to look at. I also see, again, I'm hoping people watch this video and buyers take heed to our advice, that seeing buyers really try to take advantage. I think that it's funny because what happens with rates when they start to tick up is people go, rates are getting higher.
But automatically, but it's kind of like following the leader right there.
Correct.
So
following the leader.
When other people go,
then
you should be like, okay, it's time to get in. Because then I don't have to compete.
But I think two things happen, right? So first reaction is, oh God, the rates are going up. I would say it should be, holy crap, the rates are going up. I better lock my rate in now before they get higher, right? Yeah. So it's just this weird human psychology thing that happens. It's so interesting for me to keep an eye on. So again, I'm hoping people see this video and they realize, we don't care if you buy now or in 25 years. To me, at the end of the day, all we want you to do is buy because we know it's a good investment for your future. And we know the city is doing nothing but going up, baby. That's all we doing is going up. But with that being said, it's these weird moments in the market where people to your point, are listening to the wrong news outlet. They're listening to the wrong economist. They're not, they're talking to their neighbor. They're having FOMO, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're either like diving all in or they're pulling way back. It's like this horrible, like weird dichotomy that does not allow people to make the right decisions.
It is a different world that we stepped into.
It messes me up. So I would like to say that I see a few more homes hitting the market, which would be great. A little bit of a slow in the frenzy from a buying perspective. And an opportunity, truly what happens in the next few months, and a true opportunity for buyers to take advantage of the fact that, there might be less buyers out there looking. So don't stress about the rates. The rate's the rate. You can refinance later. Just get a freaking house is what we're trying to tell you to do. So good question. Thank you so much. Let's see here. Are there any new upcoming master plan communities? Monkey Hermit asks. Yes, actually.
What is out there right now?
We've got some beautiful development happening. So the lumber shortage, that's not really a bad thing anymore. Definitely slowed the building process for a lot of our builders. They're starting to catch up. We're seeing a lot of our builders, by the way, hit the market and text us realtors saying, hey, we've got extra standing inventory. Hey, we've got more homes. Yeah, we're starting to get contacted by our friends at these new homes communities, letting us know there's fallouts of contracts and things are changing. So do not be scared at the idea of buying a new home. It's not quite as hard as it once was about 4 months ago, 5 months ago. And we have great community connections. With that being said,
that will help calm the market too.
Though, that's
kind of that helps.
Yes, it's just
it was like a perfect storm. So
lumber shortages, all that kind of made the new homes dry up, and then people moved over to resale. Resale, obviously, there weren't enough to hit the market. It was nightmare. Awesome nightmare, but nightmare.
Perfect storm right there.
Yes. So in terms of master plan communities, there's really awesome development happening in a lot of the four corners of Las Vegas, which I love. Most people think Vegas is just one big city, but really we have actually North Las Vegas, which is connected to Las Vegas, Henderson, which is also connected. It's like a metropolis, essentially, kind of like New York City has, all the boroughs. We've got kind of baby boroughs here as well. So we've got development happening up in Sky Canyon, which is the northwest part of town.
I do love that side of town too.
It's beautiful. A lot of development in North Las Vegas, actually. And North Las Vegas comes with a little bit of like a bad rep. People assume it's like bad because that's where Fremont Street is located. And there's definitely been some issues in the past.
Like central.
That's like a baby corner, teeny tiny little section.
To all of Las Vegas.
The rest of North Las Vegas is beautiful.
It's a good place.
Rolling hills, gorgeous parks.
With freeway access too. Yeah.
Super convenient. North Las Vegas, Tule Springs has been developed and continuing to grow.
Tule Springs is beautiful too.
Oh, I love it so much. I just want you guys to come and let us show you around to these locations, because seeing them in person is what really, when you get into these communities and you walk into the backyard of these model homes and you look and you see the expansive view of the city, you're up on the edge of the bowl, the Las Vegas bowl, if you will. I'm telling you, it's something that you're just not prepared for. So be prepared. That's all I have to say. In Cadence and over in Henderson, Old Henderson, we call it Old Henderson, really kind of East Henderson is over by Lake Mead and things like that. There's some great development happening out there. Lake Las Vegas is booming right now. They're turning it into a.
I so wish I would have bought it.
I know, man.
Because
I know.
You just look at what the prices used to be there.
I don't even want to talk about it.
It feels like you're out of the city, but
you're on vacation basically every day.
Not very far away.
Yeah, you're 20 minutes from the center of the city, but man, you feel like you're literally on vacation. Lake Las Vegas has some really gorgeous custom homes being built, as well as some builders that have gone out there. And Lake Las Vegas has seen a little bit of a weird experience, right? It was built as a second home community, so it was meant to be sort of vacationers and what do they call those? Snowbirds, and people who come in and out of town for different reasons throughout the year. And it's now really becoming a primary residential location, because a lot of the snowbirds, when the crash did happen 12 years ago, kind of lost their assets, and it was kind of dead and desolate for a minute there. But it is definitely not dead and desolate anymore.
It's a beautiful place out there.
Custom homes, gorgeous community, love it. So, and then of course in Inspirata is in West Henderson. It's definitely booming and growing. And then I'm going to tell you what, Southern Highlands and Southwest Las Vegas, watch out. That's all I have to say. There's more land there available to be built on than anywhere else.
I've heard that they're like near the Raiders Stadium. Is that kind of where
That's West Henderson.
Or not the stadium, near the practice facility. I've heard they're building like an outdoor mall out there too, right?
Yes, they are. That's right by Inspirata.
So maybe like the next Summerlin is kind of what it's looking like out there.
And that's, just going to do nothing but feed the rivalry between Henderson and Summerlin, which is awesome. I think it's great.
That's true, yeah.
So the answer is there's master plan communities going up everywhere. There's a lot of land to still be developed here, which we're super grateful for. And then if you want me to give you a little peer into the future, Sloan, Nevada, which is just south of Nevada, south of Las Vegas, on the way to like Los Angeles or California, is a really cool area that's going to be developed in the next 5 years.
Like off of I-15? Is that what you're talking about? So
Mark my
behind
words.
it, but that's behind Inspirada, right?
It's behind. It's just as you're exiting Las Vegas on the 15 freeway. It's the next little
Are
city.
they planning master plans out there?
There's some definite development happening out there. So just mark my words.
Just looking at what Inspirada did, you know, that, I mean, that place just went crazy out there.
So great question.
Awesome.
Thank you, Monkey Hermit. Thank you. Samantha Ramos, agree that the season makes it easier to buy. Just got under contract with a new house after putting in only one offer. Thanks to our team. Shout out to Tara. Yay. That's amazing, Samantha. Thank you so much for working with our team. And Tara is the bomb. We really appreciate it.
Cutie.
Only one offer. Let's just reiterate that. And it's a new home. So we promise we know what we're doing and we have the connections. And Tara,
congratulations,
actually is awesome.
Samantha.
Congratulations. Al says, just to be sure, my wife and I can move into a 55 plus community and I can have my 18-year-old daughter live with us too. It depends on the community, Al, but yes, absolutely. And if you want to click the link in the description, we can actually get a little bit more deep into your situation and talk about what area of town you're thinking of. That might make a bigger difference, but every one of the 55 plus communities I've sold in, the one rule was no children under 18. So as long as your daughter's 18, it could stay for more than 2 to 3 days at a time. So over 18 is fine. One person has to be 55 plus that is on the title of the home. So that's been the rules that we've been able to abide by. So it's kind of cool. And then when you go and find your adorable, I don't know, who was it a moment ago that said you want a showgirl wife, 22-year-old wife, you can make that happen too. But if you already have a beautiful wife, you don't have to worry about that. Matt says, but when rates go up, prices go down. Do you agree? I don't think so.
Yeah, because right now we're looking at prices that have gone like this, so that stabilizes everything.
I don't believe prices go down.
There's got to be a balance, so it's got to stabilize everything. And
let's look at new homes.
Prices would have to go down. There'd have to be inventory. There'd have to be places for people to go. Rents would have to go down too. There's got to be a lot of things that fall into place for prices to
really go down.
And there's got to be a lot more inventory. So no, I don't think prices are going to. I think it's going to stabilize them. And that's what needs to happen. So
let's look just to touch on that a little bit more. Let's look at a new home community. I'm a new home builder and I just upped my prices $60,000 in the last 6 months because, well, inventory was low, demand was high, and in order to throttle the ability for us to build and catch up with the demand and also throttle and make sure that we're keeping up with the market, we're elevating those prices every single week. Do you honestly think that a builder is going to say, hey, big, huge discount, only 5 months after we put these prices at this high level, we're going to now give you a huge discount just to sell it? No. There's too much demand for that to happen. There's just too much demand.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but and not only that, they can't because the builder is there to stay in business.
Correct.
So the new land that they're buying is at super high prices.
Right.
So the only way they can pay for those high prices is to keep the prices high here. Right. So then they can buy the next property.
And it's all a balance, right? If the resale values are appraising at where they are, then they're basing that off of they're basing their pricing model off of that and then elevating it because you're getting a newer product and so on and so forth. So no, just because rates go up doesn't mean prices go down. Rates going up means it just slows. And it might bring less buyers to the market. But we are in such a frenzy and we have such a low inventory right now. Again, as Amber said, we would have to see a flood of inventory hit the market to see anything drastic happen with those prices.
But those people would have to have somewhere to go.
Correct. So the only way we'd have somewhere to go is the flood of the inventory. So it's this weird balancing act and round and round we go, right? It's this roller coaster. But interest rates are not the only thing that matter when it comes to this market. It's interest rates, it's inventory, it's rental rates, it's the economy in general, it's job rates, it's the development in the city, it's what's happening in 5 years, it's all of those things. So tourism, travel, it's all of it. So it's really not just one thing. So it's not just as cookie cutter as you would think, but I appreciate you asking. All right, let's look.
That was a really good question.
That's a really good point. The 55 plus community is becoming a thing and hedge funds with the 55 plus communities becoming a thing and the hedge funds running up prices on the West Coast. I'm reading between the lines. I read that by 2035, 80% of Americans will be renters. Thoughts? I think the opposite is going to happen, actually. Saying basically with 55 plus communities becoming a thing, they're not really a thing here in Las Vegas. Let me just touch on that comment first. We have a handful of them. And yeah, we have a couple that are being developed, but 55 plus communities are not necessarily the focus of the development here in Las Vegas. Development is really focused on single homes for the majority of people who are moving here. So at one time, I think Las Vegas was really being pitched as a snowbird city where if you're 50, if you're retired of retirement age, you should buy a home in Vegas. And that was really cool. But the vast majority of homes here in Las Vegas are not 55 plus, first of all. But basically saying the hedge funds running up the prices on the West Coast. Again, I don't believe the hedge funds are running up the prices on the West Coast. I do not believe that at all. I believe that hedge funds are taking advantage of the fact that the market is, the rates are low, right? The money has been really great and low and almost free in their opinion. They're taking advantage of putting their money where they know it will appreciate over time, because what happens when there's instability in every other market, they go to real estate, right? That's what we've talked about. They put their money where they know it's going to over time appreciate, because it's a long play. Real estate is a long play, right? For most people. And then the other thing she's saying, I'm reading between the lines saying that they read that by 2035, 80% of Americans would be renters.
Why though? Okay, so that's the part that had me like, huh?
He's saying because prices are going up and because there's too many 55 plus communities is where I originally read that. That's why I wrote that down.
Okay.
Prices going up in terms of home buying prices is one thing, but you can still, for now at least, buy a home for less than you would pay in rent, like in terms of the monthly payment.
You can, and home, it's your home.
Right.
Like I think that's why the home prices all went crazy, because people were renting and were like, this sucks. I'm not in a place that I can do what I want to with it.
Right.
You know, so it's your home. So going to renting would mean that somebody else owns your life, right?
Yeah.
So I can't see that majority of Americans would think that that's
well, and I think if we're just looking at the comment that was stated, so it's saying with 55 plus communities becoming a thing and hedge funds running up the prices, they're reading that by 2035, everybody's going to be 80% of people are going to be renters. But that's really, those two things don't equal the last thing that was stated. You know, that plus that does not equal now everybody has to go rent, because those are not two things that are really happening. So I definitely would that's why I wanted to break down that comment a little bit into pieces and parts.
No, you did a good job, because I was just messed up by the last part. About 2035, 80%. Because you're saying house prices are going to get so high that the normal person can't afford them.
I definitely think if hedge funds continue to monopolize and buy every single home, that's where most first-time home buyers would be able to afford.
Wouldn't you think there'd be some regulation within that?
There might be,
though, because
there might be.
if you know, I would think that there'd be some type of regulation within that to cause that to not to happen. But
I hope that doesn't happen. But I don't foresee 80% of Americans being renters. I just at this point
today, I can't see it.
No, just based on today and what we're looking at in terms of all of that. Again, if most of the things are purchased by hedge funds, that might be one thing that could possibly lean towards more people having to rent. But I truly believe that, you know, I've seen a lot of people being able to maximize their budget by moving to more affordable places and working remotely. So that's giving them an opportunity to buy when they wouldn't have bought before. And that's part of their purchasing power, is that they've moved in order to be able to make that happen. So I think we're just talking in circles. I hope that answered your question, but no, the answer is no, we don't agree with what you're asking. Okay. What's your favorite areas to live in? Why? Matt wants to know. Let's talk about that with you. What's some of your favorite areas in Las Vegas? You grew up here. She was born and raised, my friend.
I did, and you know, I was actually born and raised on the east side of town, and people don't look at the east side of town as a positive, because it's not really close to freeway access and stuff like that.
It's a little bit older too, right?
It's older, but I like the people over there.
Yeah,
you know, I like the grassroots people that are over on that side of town. I do really like the Lone Mountain area too.
Yeah, Lone Mountain.
I haven't personally lived in the Lone Mountain area, but you know, I do like that area. You know, I mean,
those are like polar opposites from each other too. There's like one absolute side of town to the other.
But it's the same type of area though. Like there's a lot of land over in Lone Mountain area, and on the east side there's a lot of land too. So maybe it's because I'm going back to my childhood.
I think you're going back to your childhood, yeah.
And that's why I like that area
too,
because it's kind of similar in how things are sold. That's many master plans.
I'm a big fan of some of the vintage neighborhoods downtown. There's some
really that's kind of similar too. Then.
Yeah, I know. See, we're going back to roots. I think you and I have a tendency to pull away from the typical master plan community. It's because houses are a little bit closer together. It's a little bit more cookie cutter, which is fine. There are some stunning master plan communities.
There is some
but Amber and I have a little bit of a nostalgia about us. So we have a tendency to kind of lean towards what makes us feel like the old Las Vegas. So I love all the vintage Vegas neighborhoods. There's some gorgeous
maybe a little
homes.
bit of elbow room.
I like anything that's going to give you a little more land.
Yeah.
North Las Vegas is a gorgeous area, and that you can get a little bit more land for your money out there. Yeah. And I'm a Henderson girl. I'm just going to be honest. I've always been a Henderson girl. I'm always going to be a Henderson girl. Only because there's a lot more rolling hills out there. There's a lot more green grass. It is definitely one of the more expensive areas to live. Yeah. So, but those are some great areas.
When you're talking about expense, I mean, I work in Summerlin, so I'd probably pick Summerlin.
Yeah. See, she's a Summerlin girl and I'm a Henderson girl.
Yeah.
If we're gonna go,
but we
rivalry.
love each other. We love each other, even though we're rivalries.
It's like the Chiefs and the Kansas City Chiefs and the Raiders. Speaking of the Kansas City Chiefs and the Raiders, I want to let you guys know I'm actually doing a massive giveaway of tickets for that game, the Chiefs
and
versus Raiders.
I wish I could.
She's not eligible to enter.
I'm not eligible to enter, but that's amazing.
Jacob's Life in Vegas and I are going to host whoever wins to a game and dinner and a hotel.
Are you getting a lot of entries?
We're getting some entries, but I could get more. So please go to. I'll put the link in the comment. Also, just go to my channel. You can search that, or on Instagram, you can find it in a post. We would love to see you here in Vegas and enjoy it with you. Okay, back to the questions. Okay. Love these questions coming in, you guys. Thank you. Keep them coming. Sorry if we go too deep on some of the answers, but we want to make sure we're answering it.
I know. To the best of what we know right now.
Vito DePaul says, I'm seriously thinking of relocating from Maryland to Vegas next year. Is it better to sell my home first, then shop for a new home, or buy first, then sell? How to coordinate those two closings? How do you coordinate those two closings at once? That's a lot. Okay.
I know that's a lot.
So Maryland to Vegas, yes. And we have an agent on our team who just moved from Baltimore 2 years ago to Las Vegas, and she's amazing. So she would be a good person to connect with to talk about that move and how to affordably make that happen. I think we actually did something on our other channel too about that, how to move cross country to make it affordable. So check that out. And her name is Trace Askew. And then in terms of what's the best way to go about it, Amber, in terms of buying? Do you want them to sell first? Do you want them to do a bridge loan? Do you want them to do a second home? What's the best way?
It depends on your debt ratio and your individual needs. So if you're making enough where you can afford both properties for a couple months, then less stress on you to sell the house after you move here.
Right.
Like way less stress on you, and it's a lot easier to get it because then you're not having to coordinate any contingencies on the other side to be able to get that money.
Right.
Or if you don't need the money to be able to put down on the house here. So it kind of depends on what your financial situation looks like, how much money you have in the bank, and what your debt ratio is.
Right. The other thing too is we do coordinate a lot. We do this all the time because we do so many relocation moves for our clients. We are relocation experts. It's still a pain in the rear. So if the best case scenario is just as she said, if you can alleviate that stress and pressure from you, buy it as a second home and then figure it out later. If you have to, for whatever reason, have them align, we always say, get your house listed, call us before you do any of this, by the way, but get your house listed, get it on the market, get offers, accept an offer. Once an offer has been accepted and you are in contract, then we will start looking for your house out in Las Vegas. We do not look or take anybody to look for homes prior to that because nobody's going to accept an offer from you if you don't have your house listed and you don't have an offer on your house. Even when you have an offer on your house, a lot of the sellers here are still a little iffy about it because your buyer could back out. Your buyer could change the game for all of us, and it's a domino effect. So they like to even see us get past the contingency timelines, which is like, oh, okay, they had their inspection and repairs have been approved. They've had the appraiser come out, appraisal's done. Like they want to see you halfway done with that deal before they say yes to an offer. But every now and then we can negotiate on your behalf to get you into that contract. So we prefer you to have your house sold. If you can't though, all good, we got this. And we just work with we work with one of our amazing partners across the nation who you might be working with to sell your home, or we will work with whoever you've chosen to sell your home to make it all coordinate perfectly.
And you guys are so good at it. You do.
We're really freaking good at it.
You really are the relocation experts.
That's right, baby. Relocation to Las Vegas. Okay, let's see what else we got. Thank you, Vito. That was an awesome question. Papaya King 22, sorry, just joined question. Will the water issues affect real estate? Will the state impose restrictions on the amount of people able to move to the state? So the second question.
Have you read a lot about that?
Hell no. They're not going to say people can or cannot move to Las Vegas. I don't think there's a way to even stop people from moving here. So no, but great question about the water. I've read enough about the water to feel confident that we're going to be okay. I know that we have water rights to the Colorado River. We've got like 30 years worth of water stored in these underground tanks that's being filtrated on our behalf. There's been a lot of speculation that, the water's getting low. We're going to run out of water. I've even got a client who sold his home and scared and left. He bought his home a year ago and said, you guys are going to run out of water. And I'm like, yo, hold on. There's like 40 articles right here.
That they're going to start, starting to look at taking it from like buying water from other places too.
So I don't think it's going to affect the real estate as of today. It only affected us in one way. And that was when my client decided to sell his house and move back to Kansas City. I would say just keep an eye on it over the next 5 years. All the economists are talking more about some of the bigger stuff happening in Las Vegas that's going to affect real estate, which is all the major development. Water has not been a major part of the conversation yet.
So they must not be worried about it then.
I mean, there's definitely concern and we want to stay ahead of it, right? We don't want to get to 100 years from now or even 70 years from now and have a problem, but tomorrow we're not going to dry up and have no water. So we're okay. So good question though. Thank you so much, Papaya King. How do you think, let's see, where did that go? How do you think shortages of water from the, this is another one, of water and lake meat supply will affect Las Vegas? We just answered that. Good question. A lot of people asking about that. Matt Smith, I've always been so nervous to buy in a community because of special assessments. Do you see that being an issue? Matt, great freaking question. Thank you. He's bringing the heat today. Matt should get a gift card or something. We got to figure this out. So
he's got another one down.
I know, this is amazing. So let's talk about this. So there's HOA, which is a homeowners association, and then there's assessments like the SID and LID balance, which SID and LID is like special interest district, land improvement district. I always forget the name of them. These are basically fees that are assessed to the homeowner when the master plan community is being built. So it's to put the roads in and the lights in and the sewers in and the parks and all of that. That's typically rolled into the price of your home when you purchase it, if you're buying from a brand new home builder. That alone, that you'll know about before you buy, and when it's paid off and it goes away forever. Now, if you want to talk about HOA, homeowners associations can definitely put assessments on your property if you're breaking the rules, right? If you are not doing what you're supposed to do and you're painting your house purple and you're breaking all the rules, there's definitely fines that can be imposed upon you and things like that. But I would tell you right now, 9.5 times out of 10, my clients have had no issues with HOAs, no special assessments. Just every now and then, just
I mean, all the
read the rules and abide by the rules.
Yeah.
The only time there's been additional special assessments if there's like improvements needed for the neighborhood, like the gate that you guys use is broken, or the park down the street, there was somebody fell and got hurt, and then now they're suing the HOA or things like that. And those are reasons why they have cash reserves in the bank ready to go for that in the HOA setup. So when you buy the home, your fees go towards multiple things. Most of them, though, is to build up that cash reserve. So again, I've very, very rarely seen any assessments hit a homeowner, at least in my experience thus far. So great freaking question, Matt. Thank you.
You are way to do your research, Matt.
Al Rose says, I'm interested in Sloan. I'd like to get more info on that. There's not really a lot of information, but I would highly recommend doing a little Google search, Sloan, Nevada, what's going to happen out there. I think we're a few years off from real development, but definitely keep your eye on it and stay in touch with us. We'll be definitely sharing information.
That would make sense though, that the city would go that direction.
Matt's getting into some numbers here. I am very concerned about reading it out loud because my eyes are already hurting from it. Something about a $300,000 loan, 3%, 15 years. 10% interest rate. Oh God. Oh, I love you, Matt. I'm not going to dive into that question because it's a lot of numbers. And but if you want to chat with Amber,
talk to you about it.
Yeah, we can run through the numbers with you.
It's hard to go to the numbers because rates change daily. Everything changes daily and stuff. So, but I can talk to you about it personally. We can go through them as long as you want to.
Christina Scissors says, "Hi, Amber. You helped me buy my home. I appreciate you."
Oh, thank you. It's good to hear from you, Christina.
Samuel Jackson. What? Hey, Sam Jackson, how you doing? Samuel Jackson said, even if rates are at 4%, that's cheap money. Buy your damn house. He didn't say buy your damn house. I added the damn.
I like how you added
buy your home. Thank you, Sam. That's great. That's great advice. If there's a 40-year loan, if a 40-year loan comes out, prices will keep raising, is Matt Smith's assessment.
If there's a 40-year loan that comes out, there already is 40-year loans that come out that are out. The rates are just a little higher, so nobody usually uses them too much.
Oh my goodness, I'm about to sneeze. I hate it when this happens to me. Oh no, this is what happens when you go live. Oh my God, it's gonna hit me. Excuse me.
Oh my, that's the cute. I was gonna read the next question, but I was that's the cutest sneeze I've ever heard.
Thank you. Jennifer's saying we are moving from Maryland to Vegas next week, thanks to Brent Thomas and Trace Askew, who also relocated from Maryland from the Cerrone Group. Thank you so much. Oh God, here.
Oh, the cute sneeze again.
Oh God. Okay, thank you. Jennifer says, pull the trigger, Vito. Pull the trigger. Move to Vegas. Thank you so much, Jennifer.
Thanks, Jennifer.
Samuel said, Jacob recently did a video about Lone Mountain. It helped me convince my wife to consider that area. Lone Mountain is beautiful.
I know I always talk about energy, but I feel like it's got a really good energy. Gotta
get a tissue. This is so we do have allergies here in Las Vegas, and it's been quite windy. Don't worry about it if you don't have it. It's all good.
I do.
Yay! I'm not blowing my nose. I just need to make sure you guys know. Okay. We do have allergies. It's been really yucky and windy here, but it's not always like that.
It's
and
cooling
our
down,
allergies are probably not the allergies that you guys are used to. It's a whole different ballgame. So take out the condo market. Talk about the condo market, please. Let's talk about that.
Okay.
Have you been doing a lot of condo loans?
Condo loans, in the past, condo loans weren't done too much.
Right.
I'm doing more condos right now than I've ever done before.
Yeah.
So we're getting pretty good at those HOAs.
The condo market really lagged. So we saw crazy growth, as we know, in the single family home market over the last 6 to 8 months. The condos really took a minute to kind of catch up for whatever reason. I actually talked about it in a live update that I did with our broker from Xpand Realty. So click back, you can find that.
Nice.
But now the condos are starting to kind of ramp up in terms of the price increases. So yeah, we're seeing a lot of people buy condos. The great news about condos though is there's a lot of inventory with condos. There's a lot of them on the market. So it's really helping them.
Oh, is there more inventory?
I'm seeing a lot more inventory for condos. Yeah, not more than houses, but just more. It's awesome because if one's listed next door, like you don't have just one house to choose from on the block. You've got probably 7, right?
Yeah.
So it gives you an opportunity. If you like a neighborhood or you like a community, that you can likely find something that looks like the one that you want, because there's there's so many. It's such a concentrated inventory. So we really like that. We're doing a lot of condo buying with a lot of our clients, and a lot of them are investors who just want to come in and grab up something so they can just have their little piece of Las Vegas before it explodes.
Nice. The only thing about condos is there's a little bit more restrictions on the loan side of it. So we, if you're looking at it, we'll kind of talk about which ones you can do based off of what you're financing.
FHA is a little bit more tough, I'd say. So if you're looking for that type of program, we might steer you in another direction, but we'll talk. We can definitely talk about it. Good questions. Do you have any advice on getting a loan, things to avoid or things to do? Matt, of course we do. We've actually done a bunch of videos on Amber's channel, which is in the description below.
Matt, you're amazing. I love your questions.
Subscribe. Matt's going to get a gift card or something. Matt, send us a DM or figure out how to get in touch with us.
Your questions are amazing.
You're awesome.
For sure need a loan, okay?
Something.
You've already done all your research on this.
He's doing the math for us in the freaking comments.
I know.
I'm not touching that one.
Yeah, I saw that.
Let's give a few quick tips on, things to do, things not to do. You did a reel the other day that was super cute, where it was like you were scared. There was like this scary music on Instagram, and it was because somebody had gone and gotten a credit card after they got into contract. They went and bought a boat. They went and bought a car.
Basically, don't do anything to your credit. If you're going to buy a house, I love for you for watching my reels. If you're going to buy a house, don't do anything to your credit. Like keep it the same, because we're looking at your debt to income ratio.
Yes.
So we're going to be looking at your debts that are listed on your credit report. And if you pulled your credit, we're going to see the inquiry and ask if any new debts had happened. So even if you bought a car and it hasn't hit your credit yet, we're going to find out about it eventually. So don't do anything like that.
You can run, but you can't hide from Miss Amber. So yeah, buying, I think that too, but also putting a plan together. So that's what not to do, right? So don't go buy a house, don't go buy a car, a boat, don't go get a new credit card.
Yeah.
But to do is keep your balances really low on your credit cards, right? You like to keep them at what?
Your scores up. And I would say, let's just get you started. Like the best thing
to do
is so that we can talk. We'll have you fill out an application, get you started on the process. We can put a game plan together. So if we need to boost your credit up, then we can kind of, go through what your credit looks like and all that. If we need to look at your debt ratio, see what you qualify for, the best thing to do is for us to talk so that we can then pull your game plan and see what it takes for you to get into your house. Because everybody's situation is a little bit different. Yeah. We can go through do's and don'ts and all that all day long, but your situation is your situation. So the best thing to do is talk.
That's why I love working with Amber. She really takes the time to stop, even if you're not ready to buy for 5 more years, just like we do. Like we just love being able to talk to you early in your journey so that you are set up for absolute success and there's no bumps in the road along the way. So it's never too early to reach out. We love you.
And I noticed that people are really listening to you when you say that too, because I'll have people call me and they're not looking to buy for a year or 9 months. And they just want that game plan. I think it's amazing.
I love that we're able to offer that. I don't know any other realtors in the city that offer that. And that's not to say we're better. It's just that I just want you to know how invested we are in the process and that we care.
Yeah.
We care. Okay. Let's move forward. Okay. Hello from Pittsburgh, Lacey. Yo, yo, yo. All right. We're going to get this going. Thank you so much, Pollux. Good to see you as always from Pittsburgh. Shug, who is here
we were just helping us.
I should say hi. Just say hi, Shug. Hi. Shug's from Pittsburgh. She works on our team. We're super happy to see you, bud. Master plan scam by developers. Not sure what that means. Let's move on. Hello. I'm planning to relocate to Las Vegas and also to relocate my custom cabinets and cabinet resurfacing business.
Oh,
do you think that Vegas is a good market for cabinets? Yes, that's all I have to say.
We were just reading something earlier that a lot of people are putting a lot of money into remodeling. So yes, I don't even think there's enough cabinet companies right now.
Yes, and yes. Okay, nobody needs to go to Home Depot. We will send them to you. And just so you know, Alexander? Yes. I love helping small businesses spread the word about what they're doing. I am a small business cheerleader. Please, when you do get that started, please reach out. Let us collaborate. Let us help talk about your business and tell the world about you. That is my favorite thing to do, except for selling Las Vegas and telling people how awesome it is to live here. Matt, again, bro, first of all, do you want to come work for us? Like, seriously, what's going on here? He said, I had a friend in Colorado get a $40,000 special assessment for sliding for siding and roofs. I couldn't believe it. The HOA was set too low from the beginning. Good point. Not really going to happen here in Vegas. I haven't seen that in Vegas. If that was in Vegas, please tell me where. I would like to know.
Yeah.
They're pretty awesome. And HOAs aren't really super strict here as well. So that's also something to denote.
I haven't even seen, I mean, I know HOAs can raise their costs and stuff, but I haven't seen that a lot. Like when I'm refinancing people's houses, you know, compared to when they bought them.
Very small upticks over the years.
Yeah.
Papaya King, I believe when someone sneezes, Seinfeld says, "You're so good looking." I love that. Thank you so much. Let's see. Matt is a numbers guy. I love it. And she's a numbers girl. So get in with this chick. She'll get you going.
We're going to get along good. I can tell.
We've got a couple more to go here and then we're going to hop off. This has been a really long one today, but I'm so grateful that we just popped on. Before we go back, for those of you who, or before we start these last two questions, for those of you who just joined us, we're talking about not following the leader. We're talking about buying seasonally. We're talking about don't stress about the rates clicking up. When they start to click up, you need to lock it in and get in and start your plan now. Buy during the seasonal times when nobody else is looking or less people are looking so that we can help you get into your home. So if you're thinking about it, there's a link in the description. Sam Jackson says, are buyers currently having to waive contingency so that their offer will be considered? Sometimes. Yeah, sometimes. We're seeing it's less than it was earlier this summer. I will say that. But yeah, it depends on the price range that you're looking in. It also depends on if the house already has other offers sitting there waiting to be reviewed. We don't always make that our first recommendation to our clients. I hate recommending that anybody waives anything, frankly, because I feel like it should be an even playing field across the board. You know, when you want a house though, and it just depends on your desire for the house, that's going to be the main driver. So your timeline, your budget, it's not every house. So yes, that is happening. There are people having to waive an appraisal contingency. So if the home doesn't appraise for what they're paying for it, they're guaranteeing that they'll cover the spread. There are people who are waiving any and all inspections, which is, I will never, ever recommend that to anybody ever. I don't know why any realtor would allow that. It's just such a scary thing to do. You don't know what's behind those walls. And then we are seeing people waive, HOA contingencies as well. Like, we don't care what's in the rules. We're going to sign off early. So yes is the answer, but that's not really, it's not on every house, I guess, is the bottom line.
Just depends on how many people.
Yeah, it depends on your guidance. Yeah, like
you guys are so good at like negotiating. So finding out, you know, kind of what you can find out to be able to see what you have to do.
Yeah, it just depends. So it's really, what's your motivation? How badly do you want the house? What's your timeline? What are we scrunched or crunched or whatever? How badly do the sellers want to sell? Like, what's their, you know, like, it's really another little carousel. Yeah. Good question though, but that is happening across the city. And we always get a little nervous when people come thinking that that's expected. We would never expect that. We are going to be realistic with you though about what you need to do to get into the home, again, depending on your situation. Okay, we got a couple more to go here. Tish, hey Tish, thank you for always joining us. Good morning, gals. What is more important, a good credit score or good income when buying a home? Great question.
That is a really good question. It's kind of both though. I mean, what a loan looks at is your credit, your debt to income ratio, and then how much you have down. So assets.
Okay.
So it's looking at your credit, your income, and your assets.
So
and
it's a trifecta.
They all kind of work together in the same. And it depends on how, you know, all that's going to determine how much you can buy and what kind of loan you can get based off of your credit score. So really it's an equal, we're looking at them all equally.
Got it. So if I make amazing money, but I have horrible credit, I can still qualify for a loan most likely. I just won't get the best loan, low interest.
Yeah, like the loans, you can get an FHA loan going down to a 540 FICO score. And
wait, what?
But going down to a 540 FICO score means that you need to have more money down that you're putting. And then, you know, so other things are going to be looked at, but you don't have to have the best.
I'm still just kind of like,
I just closed one the other day. Yeah. So you don't have to have the best credit score, but then you're going to make it up with your assets and the amount of money that you're putting down on the house. Yeah. Because it's going to require a little bit more.
And, you know, we always want you guys to be making strong financial decisions. This is a long-term buy, right? You're in this loan for 30 years or whatever the rate, whatever it is that you build out with Amber. So credit's, I think, a pretty strong, important part, but you can get it. Apparently you can get a 540 with a 540.
I know. Well, but I would always say,
work on the credit to get you a better rate.
You're going to want the best rate, but you're going to need also income and assets too, you know, depending on what you're doing. That's
Love that question. All right. Last one, Jason McGuire, as is deals or no home warranties, buyer beware. Yes, that's a great point. So basically what Jason is saying is if you're looking at a home and in the comments it says from the agent, this home is coming as is, doesn't mean you can't get an inspection done. You can absolutely still get an inspection done. You can buy it. You can put an offer on the home, even though it says it's as is, and still request repairs. Like that doesn't go away. But if they're demanding that it's as is, and that they won't allow you to get inspections, which is illegal, so that's not going to happen. Yeah, buyer beware for sure. Warranties are kind of a crock of shit. I can just be very honest.
I was like, how are you going to put this?
Home warranties are a crock of shit. I'm going to say it again. We have wonderful home warranty partners, and listen, they're great for small little items here and there, but do not think because you get a home warranty that if your AC breaks, that you're immediately going to get a new AC, or that if your furnace,
they're a business,
they're a business, and they're a crock of
to
shit.
make money.
And I'm totally going to get literally burned by our partners for saying that, but I don't want anybody to buy a house thinking, see, this is why you work with our team. We're going to be very real with you. I don't want anybody buying a house thinking that if you get a home warranty that everything's just peachy keen and with a pretty big bow. I will say builder warranties are pretty awesome. Builder warranties are solid and stand by their product. Mm-hmm. So depending on if you're buying resale or if you're buying a new home, we could certainly advise you as to whether it's a crock of shit or not, basically is all that. So love that.
I love your honesty though.
I couldn't help it. I'm like,
you gotta love the honesty. I even heard the hesitation. I was like, ooh, what's she gonna say?
Shit. I do love home warranties though for just a basic reason of smaller stuff. I've got my microwave broke, my refrigerator's no longer working. Repairs is what they're for. Replacement.
To replace is where you'll get tied.
AC, it's definitely good to have a home warranty for your AC if it goes out. It's always gonna go out in the summer, just so you know, when it's thousands of degrees out. But at the bottom line is that they're going to want to repair that thing until hundreds of times before they're going to be willing to replace it. So just go into home buying knowing that your home warranty is for repairs, mostly, not necessarily for replacement. Mm-hmm. It does sometimes replace, but I would not count on it. So, okay. Can you tell I've had some issues with the home warranty recently?
Like, what's happening lately with the home warranty?
Can you tell I had some issues with the AC lately? Yeah. Okay. Let's see what else. Thanks, guys. Have an amazing day. Thank you, Matt. Again, thank you. Please get in touch with us. I'd love to thank you personally. Matt, home warranties he says, aren't they about $400? Yeah. So that's why we always include it in our offer. Anytime we're writing an offer for a client, we always say we want the seller to buy you a home warranty. They're anywhere from they're about 600 actually, like 600 to 900 to 1100. The home has a pool. It's going to be higher. Same thing, man. That pool pump breaks. It's going to come repair it. It's not always going to fix it. It's not always going to do what you need it to do. Okay. And Jason says, I had a furnace repair laced for free with a home warranty plan, $7,000 for free. You, my friend, got lucky. I'm very happy for you.
Good job,
furnace
Jason.
Replaced for free with the home warranty. I can't type today. That's okay, buddy. Does Nevada have any wild fees at closing? No, not really. No, everything's pretty low key here. And we'll get you an estimate of what that looks like right before we push forward with the loan. That was a little bonus question from our buddy Matt, who apparently works for us. He's our YouTube commentator today. Love you, buddy. We really, really appreciate it. Please click the link and just get in touch with us. We'd love to just say thank you. And thank you all for joining us today.
Yes,
thank you, my friend.
Thank you so much for all the questions, too. And thank you for having me.
I love you.
So nice.
We'll be back, I believe, next Wednesday. That's the plan. So come ready with your questions. Come ready with your questions. We'll log on around 9:45 or 10. Try to stay on for as long as we can. And we're going to try to fix the issue with Instagram so we can see what the hell happened today. Thanks again for joining us. If you have additional questions that weren't answered, there is a link in the description. It's really easy to click and it's really easy to fill out the form. And then once you fill out the form, our team will reach out. We'll schedule a time to talk and answer your questions. If you want to get in touch with Amber, you can follow that same link, my friends. We'll get you connected to her and we're ready to serve you. We're ready to see you buy seasonally, not follow the leader.
Yes, I love that. Let's
take advantage of this awesome,
I need to do a reel
place.
on that. Let's do a reel.
We're doing a reel. Okay. Bye, guys. We'll see you soon. Happy Halloween almost. We're almost there, right? See you soon.